Okay, and welcome back. Okay, so this is going to be the final video on this. Regardless of how it looks right now, this is final. I am putting things together. This is what I'm working on over here. I've got the glass in, and also these. Ooh, what are you gonna call them? I forgot the name of those. The wheel wells, and also these side moldings. I'll get back to that in a second. But as you can see, I used caulk on that, and this is really good caulk. If you're going to use caulk, I would recommend you use this one, the DAP kitchen and bath caulk. This stuff really holds on. I was pushing pretty hard on this window just to see, if it's going to come off, and it's just solid. Solid with a little bit of give, with kind of a little bit of a rubberiness, which is exactly what I was looking for. And I glued on these rear ones too. And lately I can't seem to keep the glue inside the lines, but caulk is really easy to just kind of cut off of there and trim it up. That's all on the bottom anyway. If you look at how it's going to sit, there's no caulk ooze through the top. But this isn't without mistakes, that's for sure. Because what I did is I got this has been drying for over a day, because these were bowed out and they weren't fitting the contours, so I had all these clamps on there. I wanted to wait and make sure they dried really good. But it's all for naught, because when I got here today, I sat down here and I tried to start figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm looking at these. I'm like, what on earth are those? I don't get it. And so I start looking through the instructions, and as it turns out, these are the side moldings, bottom moldings for the side pipes. And I know he wants the side pipes, so we're putting the side pipes back on. Side molding for the side pipes. What I glued on there are the rocker molding for if you're going to be doing the drag version, or you don't want side pipes. So that molding goes all the way forward. I'll show you on the other side there. Right there. See if I can get it to focus. See that cutout there? That is where the side pipe has to come through. So since I glued these on, the side pipes won't be able to come through, and so I can't put the side pipes on. So what I have to do, I just got here today, and the first thing I'm going to have to do is pull these moldings off. And now I've got to decide what I'm going to do here, because I've got one molding looks pretty good, and the other molding looks like somebody's been chewing on it. I think that what I'm going to do, I'm sure I know what I'm going to do, is I'm going to pull the molding out of my kit, and I'm going to donate my molding, even though I would need this for my build. And then when I'm building mine, I'll just figure out what on earth I'm going to do. I probably won't put moldings on either side. Yeah, I just won't put moldings on either side, and I'll go with more of a tougher appearance. So that is what I'm going to start with there. I brought over a little care package from home, including my little drills. Oh, I did that because, as it turns out, so when I started to try to wire that, the distributor and the coil broke right off, and you can see why. Didn't scrape the plating, so I got to glue those back on. But not until after I drill out the little holes. The hole in the coil accepted the wire pretty well, but the other ones, as much as it fits in there, they're only like 2 millimeters deep, and it pops right back out. So I need to drill all those holes out, and then wire up the distributor. Probably wire it up first and then glue it on, and then move on. So I'm going to try to keep this going faster, so this video is not an hour long. But so that is where I stand when I get here today, because it has to be finished here today, and I got here late today. So here we go. Pull those side moldings off and get to work. Okay, and moving right along. So now I have the correct molding on there. That's one good thing about caulk, is if you have to take something off, it's on there pretty good, but it will come off without ruining everything. So I got those moldings off, and I got these moldings on, and of course that extra area there is going to be covered by the side pipes. And those will go on last. The whole thing, once the whole thing is on the chassis, I'll set the whole thing upside down again and then run a bead of caulk right along the edge there, which seems to be how it attaches, where the yellow part there, and let that dry in place, and that should hold the side pipes on good. So I got that done the correct way finally. Now over here, been working on the motor. And now for me, this is a challenge. I don't usually wire up the engines because now this is of course at 1/12 scale, and this was a challenge enough, and I got it done. This was all after reattaching the distributor and reattaching every single thing on here came off. Got the headers back on, not the exhaust manifolds back on, and got the oil filter back on, got the distributor, got the coil back on, all being reattached correctly with scraping the plating and everything. Realizing just now I got to get that fan on there. But I got that wired, and let me tell you, that is a challenge for me. Even at 1/12 scale, that was the hard part here. Everything else can be smooth sailing. And so the next thing I'm going to do, of course, is glue the fan on, and then I'm going to glue the motor in with its drive shaft, and then I'm going to try to get that body on. And let me tell you, those edges there have to bend way out to get this thing on, and so I'm a little nervous, but once that's on, it's practically done. Then I just glue the side pipes on, and I'm going to have to get the door handles on there. They were never on there as far as I can tell, or they were just glued. Where are they? There's one of them right there. Or they were just glued right onto the paint and I never even saw a mark because they fell right off. But at the end of that, I'm gonna call this assembled. So let's see how that goes. Okay, there we go. Engine is in, and drive shaft is reattached. And well, you know, I always like them when they're in this stage, kind of just the tub and the engine and chassis. And so that was pretty easy, you know, attaching the engine and so on, getting that back on the chassis, and so that's ready to go. But now, the part that I'm really scared of is attaching the body to the chassis. Because, I mean, it didn't even come off easy because it has to go out and around that firewall. See that? The bottom has to kind of bend out over that. And now when I took the body off, it was hard enough to get off, but all this stuff, all these wheel wells and the radiator and everything were broken off, so none of that was in place when I took it off. So all that's in place now, and all that's going to interfere. You know, the fan's got to go into the shroud. The engine was loose in there when I took it off. Who knows what's going to happen here, but I don't think this is going to be easy. Curiously, now this is hilarious. The instructions give you no help. It simply says attach body to chassis. I think that basically they're saying to attach the back first. And I think that's how it came off, so I'll try that. But, okay, and because of time constraints, those heater hoses are just not going to happen. This is the end of the road. This is the last day, so there's nothing I can do. But maybe, because I want it to be a surprise. I don't want it to be like at this stage and say, surprise, it's half done. I want to be able to say, you know, there it is on the case, you know, nice and shiny, looking pretty good. And, you know, for him, it's probably good enough, I guess. You know, I'll say that I can go back in down the road, or, you know, a week from now or something like that, and try to get those heater hoses in there. But today is just not going to happen. On mine, though, I mean, I'm planning on building that in the next couple of months, and it, of course, will have everything attached correctly and done properly. So fear not, you will see one of these done completely correct from start to finish, and unfortunately this one will be missing a few things. So the next step I'm going to try, boy, this is the moment of truth, try to get that body onto that chassis, and boy, got my fingers crossed. See what happens. Okay, so look at this. I mean, this is crazy. Look at how far that body has to go around that. Look at that. How far that's going to have to be pulled out and around that firewall. And it has to be done that way. They were right. The back end has to go in first. It's got the classic, if you look there, see how much that's bent over? If you were to put the front on first, you would never be able to get that over the rear of the frame there. So that has to go, that has to hook in first, that, and then that is going to have to, I'm going to have to pull those sides out without breaking them off. I mean, this is crazy. I can remember reading about this years ago in a fine scale modeler or a scale auto enthusiast. Somebody had built this one and was complaining about how far out they've got to pull that out, but I never, somehow, I didn't have the kit back then, and I never thought I was going to have to face this, but I'm scared to death, guys. I think that it seems like that body can break pulling it out that far. I've just got to bite the bullet and do it, so I just wanted to show how far that, I mean, that's ridiculous. So, fingers still crossed. Let's see what happens. Alright, it's on there. It was no problem. I mean, it was a big problem. It was scary. But as you can see, I didn't shatter it. I really thought I was going to. Let me tell you guys, if you ever get this kit, that is the scariest part of the whole thing, is bending, because you really have to take the bottom panels there, the bottom part of that toe in, and you got to bend it out like straight to get it over that firewall, and it feels like it's gonna break, but it goes on there. That's whew, I'm glad that's on there. I don't want to ever take that off again. In fact, I'm not looking forward to doing it on that one, but it has to be done, and I've proven that it can be done, so that's that. Now next step, I wanted to say, okay, we got to put the hood on. And I wanted to say thanks a lot. I mean, thanks a lot, guys, for solving that one for me. I was never going to find the solution there. But you guys answered, I think, unanimously for the old hood. So it's going to be that one right there. Because it matches the body shade. It's got, you know, a little blemish, a little rub through. But gosh, the rest of the car has little blemishes and little rub throughs anyway. So that's the hood that's going to go on. Let's put that on there. And the good thing is that I can put this hood on afterwards, because the little hinge there is not on this hood. Now that one was going to have to be attached. See that little hole there? That is on that fender well. So the hood would have to be on when the fender well goes on. But looks like my dad cut them off. So this hood can be put on at any time. And I'm going to put it on right now. There we go. That's what it looks like with its hood on. Coming together. Okay, so the next step, well, I think the next step is to get the dust off that windshield. But then soon after that, boy, look at this thing. This is looking sharp. Yeah, next thing is flip it over, glue on those side pipes. And after that, it's going to be the windshield wipers. I went and right over here, I went and painted the wiper blades on there. It's all one molded piece, and you can just paint the rubber part of the wiper blades and then put them right in those holes. That'll be easy. And then I don't think that the door handles were ever attached, and I just have to glue those on. maybe I'll just etch a little tiny spot so that I can glue those on. Other than that, I just noticed just now, I mean not just now, like 10 minutes ago, that there's no side view mirrors. And in my assortment of loose parts here, there's no side view mirrors here either. So I have no side view mirrors, and you know what? I'm just gonna. Enough is enough. This is it's midnight over here, and I'm still going at this. So he never put them on, so I'm not gonna put them on. So this car is probably what you call illegal. So next step, flip it over, glue on the side pipes, and I'll be right back. Okay, and so here we go. It is the next morning. It is about 8 hours after the previous clip. And as you can see, I've got the body on and the side pipes are on. And it's really starting to look like something, isn't it? That's something, that's a nice looking car right there. And, well, I'll probably end up getting some pictures of this just for my own scrapbook when it's done. But yeah, I just wanted to mention some issues here. Now with the side pipes, you can see on this side, everything mounted on nice and perfect. But the other side, not so good. As you can see here, there's a gap. And that gap is there because the body wouldn't go all the way down onto the frame. And I'm pretty sure this is the way it was originally assembled. It's the problem that we've all run into where the body won't come down on the frame, you see that? And this is caused by, half of you have probably already guessed it, the dashboard hits on the cowl right there. So the body won't go all the way down, so something needed to be modified. I didn't notice this really. I mean, I wouldn't have had time to do anything about it anyway because this is the absolute last day. But that's something to keep in mind. Not only is it pushing against there, this particular one is pushing at an angle. So it's higher on one side than the other. Yet somehow, crazily, the car seems to sit pretty level. It is a little higher on that side, but it doesn't look bad. But yeah, it is just about there. There's a few things I need to do. So just to try to hide that a little bit, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to gouge a little bit of that caulk out of there. And then I'm going to paint where the yellow is with silver, just to try to kind of hide that thing a little bit. And then quite a few things that I noticed that I hadn't anticipated. Like I'm looking at these little exhaust tips that have never been on. And they go on the end of the side pipe. I'm sorry about the birds. I think I've mentioned before, can't do anything about them. But I'll put those little exhaust tips on there. We got to put that little emblem thing on the back there. Got to put the antenna on. Got to put the door handles on. Got to put the windshield wipers on. Now, I was thinking about doing the bare metal foil, and didn't make it. Not going to happen. There's quite a few things that didn't quite come to fruition here, and you can only do what you can do. I will offer to him to finish this off. You know, take it apart again and take my time and finish everything off, but he won't let me. There's no way. He's going to say, no, it's all done. And so this is probably it, and I'll concentrate all the perfect non-scheduled, you know, no deadline building to that one over there. That's going to be the cream puff over there. But this one don't look bad. Don't look bad at all. So what I'll be doing here is getting all those little pieces on and painting those little things, and then I think I'm about to film the final scene. So be right back. Alright, so it is pretty much there. I'm going to go ahead and call it at this point, mainly because I'm completely out of time. I've got to leave the house today and I'm not going to be able to come back. So the next person in the house is going to be my dad. And so I've got the door handles on, and the windshield wipers, and the antenna back there, plus the little Corvette emblem. It might be the gas cap. And got it on the other side. Everything ready to go. And that will do it. Under the hood, well, we saw under the hood, but I've put the triangular air cleaner back on there, and I've kind of just slightly dabbed just a little bit of caulk on there, so it's still removable if he wants to take it off, but he'll have to pull a little bit, so it'll stay on there and won't move. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it where I'm going to leave it for him so he can find it. So I'll be right back. Okay, and there it is. I'm going to give him this case. If he wants to keep it in the case, keep it nice and safe in there. And if he wants me to continue on and do more detail work on it, we'll open it back up and work on it some more. Otherwise, this will keep it nice and safe and dust free. And you know, these are for looking. These are for looking at, not for playing with, for sure. And even if you're not playing with it, if you're going to be moving around a lot, that can also damage them. They're just not for that. They're for being in cabinets or being in cases so that they will always look good. And so that's where this one is now. And let me tell you, it's a relief. I hit the deadline and I couldn't be happier. And this was fun. This was, that's not the first wreck I restored, or sort of restored, but it is the largest one I ever restored, and or just basically kind of just put it back together. And I would love to do it again. As you know, I've got that van, that big bad van wreck, and I want to put that one back together. I think hopefully at some point this year I'll pull that back together. But this was fun. I appreciate everybody who stayed with me all the way through it, especially the advice, putting the old hood back on there. That was, looking at that, I'm sure that was the right decision. And that's done. Okay, so it will be nice to get back into the shed and work on my own stuff. But this has definitely been fun. Thanks for watching all the way through, and stay tuned for lots more. Everyone have a good one. Bye.